Hello everyone, this is Johannes.
And this is Cinema.
And you are watching Board Gaming Ramblings.
And today we are taking a look at our top 10 city building games.
Yes, we are doing a top 10. Basically, as a little break between all the Spiel games. So don't you worry if you are like, where are the Spiel videos? They're coming
here.
as soon as we are possible to play them. Because I have been working you've been working every day and I've been working every night. Working 8 to 5, I don't know, 8 to the night. So it's been hard to play the game. So we're just doing a top 10 because we love top 10s.
Yeah, we do.
Top 10s are fun,
Yeah.
and people seem to enjoy top 10s, and today we are talking about a thing that I like a lot, city building.
Yeah.
Is this a mechanism that you like as well?
I enjoy it. When we were searching for games in this category, I found that there were many games in this category and some games that I didn't feel like are city builders. How have you what was your thinking making this list?
I was checking like the city building thing on BGG because I always do that when we make top 10.
Category of mechanisms?
Not just a thing.
The thing?
Yeah, I always do that when we make top 10 lists because that's like the easiest way because it's so easy to forget games.
Oh yeah, for sure.
If I just sit down and like, what is these games
Look at
that
the
I
shelf,
like?
yeah.
So I've taken that, but also like it's kind of like as many other categories, a feeling thing.
Yeah.
It need to feel to me as city building in some way.
Yeah, I've done kind of the same in my brain. I have been thinking like I have to feel like I'm actually building a city.
Yeah.
And it doesn't need to be the core, like the only mechanism, but it has to feel like that is one of the like main mechanisms in the game.
It has to basically feel like a city building game.
Yeah.
Because that's a top 10 list.
Yeah.
So without further ado, should we start a list?
Yeah.
Let's start at number 1 and then work our way down the list to mix it up a bit. What do you think about that idea?
Not a fan.
Okay, then we just do it as we normally do.
Yeah.
We're going to start at number 10 and we're going to start with you.
Yes, my number 10 is Acropolis. And this is a game that it is my number 10 because it isn't like the strongest city building.
Yes.
It is a great game.
Did you rate your games according to how much city building there are?
No, it's like a mix.
So both that and how much you like it.
Yeah, right.
So it's not like the game I don't like at all is at number 1, but it's a lot about building cities.
So there are some games on this list that I like a little bit less than Acropolis.
Okay.
But Acropolis feels a little less like a city building game. That is why. But basically in Acropolis you are placing these tiles with 3 like buildings kind of on them, and you want to place them in your city, and you want to place them in different levels, and you all have like some scoring categories that make you want to place in a specific kind of way. And that is also one thing that I forgot to mention, because there's a lot of city building in on a lot of games, but to me one thing that really makes it feel like a city building game is that I really need to think about how I place the buildings in my city. Like they have to interact with either like other players or my own board, and I feel like in Acropolis that I'm really thinking like how I place the tile in my city, and also love how quick it is to play and the really clever drafting.
I think it's pretty weird that when you're playing Acropolis, you're thinking about how to place a tile in my city, but that's you're probably different than me.
That's so meta.
Like you're always thinking about my city
next
when
game,
you're placing. So my number 10, I like Acropolis. I think it's a fun little game. And my number 10 is a game from one of my favorite designers called Stefan Feld.
Cool.
It's one of his games that's not as well known, I will say, or maybe not as popular. I don't know why, because I think it's a fantastic game.
I'm racking my brain for which game this is.
It's Forum Trajanum.
Oh yeah.
You're not really building a whole city, but I've taken games where you don't have to be the city planner. You can like plan your quadrant of the city. And I really like in this game, it's so simple, but yet so deep. You are like everything around you are just taking 2 of these people out of your city, and then you're choosing one to keep and one to send to another player, and those 2 are the ones you get to play. And there's different reasons. I always love, we talked about this many times lately, the thing about different reasons for picking things.
Yeah.
It's a bit random because the colors are unknown, but you need to like make a room for the buildings you want to build. So when you take them away, you open up spaces, but there's also different columns and rows with different symbols. You want to match things with them.
Yes.
So there's like a little bit of different ways different reasons to do it. I really enjoy this game. I think it's a very solid game. If you have not played it, I would recommend at least checking it out. That is my number 10.
Cool. My number 9 is Keyflower. And this is a game that feels like you're not building a city, but you're building a little village. It's so nice.
It's not big enough to be a city, big enough town.
Yeah, it is a town builder, if that is allowed to say. But in this game, you are basically you're bidding with workers to get tiles to place in your town, city, little village, and it is you have to connect them by roads. So, and what I really think is interesting in this game, because you are what do you call it, transporting resources around to turn them into points, and how you place them in my city is really important. And also it's really cool that you have this auction bit where you're really desperately fighting for some of those tiles.
Yeah, I think it's a great game as well. My number 9 is then going to be Glenmore 2.
Cool.
I really like Glenmore, and especially Glenmore 2. It's the same game, like it's a revamped version of the game. And this was one when I first saw it, I was like, oh, is that city building? And then when I looked at it, it's like, oh yeah, that's actually what you're doing. You are building a city. This is like a tiling. Many city building games are tiling games, but not all tiling games are city building games.
Oh, you're so deep.
Yeah. I don't know, but you are building them and there's some adjacency things that you want to move people around. The coolest thing here, of course, is the time track, like from the same as in, for example, the thing we always say, Patchwork.
Yeah.
But here it's like you go for a specific tile, so you can jump very far ahead if it's a tile you really want. But then it's going to be a very long time until it's your turn again, and you're trying to maximize the point conversion, like in many games. I think this is a fantastic game and a great city building game. My number 9. Number 8.
My number 8 is Glenmore 2. So
oh wow!
It's a direct crossover, so we have a little crossover dance.
Crossing over in the more of the Glen.
I was also skipping this game. The first time around I looked at the BGG list, I was like, that is not a city builder. And then I also remembered that it absolutely is, because of kind of the same reason that I love Keyflower.
Yeah.
Because you want to place things adjacent to each other for different reasons, but like the way that you have to move the little man to actually activate the things, the little man is really interesting, and also that you have to also take in account the adjacency of the river. And also the time track is really fun as well.
And do you remember that we were not really happy about the name of the game?
Yeah, it should have been like Glen Even More.
Or Glenmore 2 More. I like that one the best. Glenmore 2 More. I like
even
that one.
More.
Even more. That's expansion. Even
Much
more.
Glen Most. It should have been Glen Most.
Glenmore 3 Most. That's the last one.
So that's my number 8.
My number 8 then is going to be a tiny game called Tiny Towns.
Oh, it's not a tiny game.
No,
it's not.
But
it's a tiny town.
It is a tiny town.
Yeah.
So it's a town builder as well.
Yeah.
Oh, we should change the name of the video. I really like this game. It is a very fast-playing, fun game where everybody else is going to choose what you're going to do, and you're going to hate them for it because you want specific colors, but other people want other colors, and basically somebody's going to say red, and everybody has to take a red cube and place it on their board. You have a very small grid. I think it's 16 spaces. 4x4, maybe it's 5. No, it's 4x4.
It's 5x5.
It's 5x5, 25. You sure?
It has to be.
I think it's 4x4. And you are
that is
and
harsh.
You are then trying to make then these different what's going in patterns.
Yeah.
And when you make the patterns, you change them up with a building, and you're trying to do that and not get blocked, basically. So you're trying to maximize the way you can then place building, and then you place the other building, get this and that. But it's all kind of player driven, so you cannot always decide, but you're trying to put yourself in a position where you don't get blocked. It's a very fun game, one I enjoy quite a lot.
And so punishing as well if people pick the wrong colors. My number 7 is Electropolis, and this is a fun little city building with like a cool drafting as well, because the drafting is really intense, because like you're dividing kind of this circle of buildings. Can you please explain it? I couldn't find a way to explain this game.
Basically, you have a circle of tiles.
Yeah, a circle of tiles.
It's the way. I don't know the lines. I don't know why I continue.
Clear. I don't know.
circle tiles. So we have circle tiles,
Yeah.
and then you, the first player gonna pick a number, and everyone's gonna pick a number. And I pick a number, then the player who picks like the lowest number get to go first.
Yeah.
And you have to take as many tiles as the number you said, and the tiles have to be adjacent to each other. So the earlier you go in the round, you might get the tiles you want, and the later you go, you get lots of tiles, but you might get tiles that are bad for you.
Yeah.
Because if I chose 6, I have to take 6, and I'm probably going to be lost in place. So I have to take 6 that are adjacent to each other when it's my turn to take tiles.
That is so interesting and can like so easily turn disastrous. But I really think it's a fun little puzzle trying to place all the tiles that you didn't want to take into your little city.
You have a grid there as well that you're
Yes.
placing the tiles. My number 7
And
is...
also, like, where in the city you get to place, that is also, like, drafting, that is also, like, mind-blowingly difficult.
Yeah, because when it's your turn, you take tiles, but you also take a card that dictates where you can place the tiles.
Yeah, it's insane. Yeah.
Really fun game. And that's why it's on my number 7. My number 7 is Electropolis. Perfect crossover.
It's a perfect crossover.
Bam, bam. No, you have to go this way. Crossover dance. Electropolis. This is a game that
Police. Electric Police.
This is a game that you really should check out because it is a fantastic game. It's one that you might not have heard about, but it's one that this I think was 2019 Spiel.
Yeah, it might
and
be.
I think that this was like for me, the most hidden gem game I found at any of the Spiels I've been at.
Yeah,
a
like the
fantastic
most
game.
hidden.
The most hidden and the most
jammy
gem.
hidden
So
gem?
it wasn't that hidden. It was on
The most
display.
gem.
Yeah, because it wasn't like I didn't have to go like in a back room and say, "Do you have Electropolis?" But yeah, a fantastic game.
Suddenly, like you were Scottish.
Yeah, but Electropolis. I don't know what happened. It's your turn to do number 6.
Yes, my number 6 is my city. And
Oh, the one you were thinking about when you played Acropolis.
Yes, yeah, I was just like so in love with my city, but I am like for real. It is a great game.
Yeah.
But the reason it is not higher because it's like one of my favorite games ever is
Oh,
that,
wow, is it really?
Yeah, it is. It's
Wow.
super cool.
Spoiler alert for top 100.
But the reason it is not higher on this list is that you could like paste any theme on there basically, and it would be like just put like these central mini shapes to
My forest.
fit. Yeah, my town, for example.
My factory.
Yeah.
My house.
So I think like as much as it is building a city, I have other games on this list that are more city building. But
City
basically,
building.
you are all like it's a flip and then place a tile game.
Mm-hmm.
So you're all like flipping a card, and then everybody has to place that tetromino shape of building, and you have different reasons that you want to place, and it's getting harder and harder because you've used up all the space, obviously, and it is a campaign game also. So legacy game. So you get like more and more changing up with the rules and more rules and stuff.
Like in Glenmore,
Amazing
you're getting
games.
more.
Much more.
Yeah, my number 6 is actually a game that if we did this list like 2 years ago, it would have been way harder.
Okay.
So my number 6 is going to be Suburbia.
Cool.
This is one I
Way
really...
harder? Wait, higher. Yeah.
This game would have been way harder 2 years ago.
Yeah.
It's a game I really like. I enjoyed the last time we played it. I didn't feel like I was loving it as much, but I really want to play it again to like feel the feelings, because Suburbia is a fantastic game. It might be one where like the deluxe super edition makes it harder to play because there's so much stuff and all the things taking out. But Suburbia has always been one of my favorite games to play. Like I like loved it from early on. I'm saying it again. It was the first game I bought secondhand from somebody who bought it at Spiel 2012. I think it was 2012, and I bought it like early 2013 with Murms, which we then hated, but now love.
Love it.
Yes, and I really like it. That's what I'm trying to say. My brain kind of stopped. I really like it, especially with 2 players, because I like it to be like a quick little game. And they're like, this is one where everything you do interacts with the other players in a really great way. One that I enjoy to play, and one that I would kind of never turn down. If someone's like, I really want to play Suburbia, I would be like, okay. If you don't, of course, have 16,000 Spiel games to play. So never. Number 5.
My number 5 is then Suburbia.
Oh!
And I agree with you. Like
Another, we have to do the crossover.
Oh yeah, we do.
It's another almost
Crossover.
fancy crossover coming into your face like it's 3D.
But I agree with you that some years ago this would be like maybe number 1 or 2.
Yep.
But I agree that now I have found other city building loves in my life. But this was the first city building game that we played, I
Yes.
think.
Yep.
And it was so
Maybe like
mind-blowing.
if you don't count Carcassonne.
Yeah, that's true. But this was so mind-blowingly thematic when we played it, and it was so new, that kind of interaction. We hadn't seen that in a game before. And also that balance between you need that income, but every time you get points, you will reduce your income and like your points income as well. So you have to always balance not getting a lot of points fast, because then you will stagnate so fast.
Yes.
So that really interesting game, and look forward to play it again.
My number 5 is then going to be a crossover.
Okay, cool.
It is
Spoiler
Suburbia.
alert. Wait, what?
I'm joking. It is. It's Keyflower.
Ah, okay.
Keyflower is
Should
a
we-
yeah. Dun 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 crossover dance. Hey. It is a very fun game. Last time I played it, I didn't have fun because I set myself up to a very bad position where I had no meeples and nothing to do for half of the game, which was fantastic moves of Mr. Johannes. I'm so good at board games. But it's a very fun game. We even have an expansion that we haven't played.
Oh, we do?
Yes.
I had forgotten.
I think it's the first expansion called The Farmers or something
Cool.
like that. Keyflower is one that we also played very early. Early on. Played early on. But it's one that I really enjoy, and for the reasons you said as well. But basically, go back if you didn't see that, if you skipped here randomly. It's my number 5. Number 4.
My number 4 was like the biggest surprise of my list. Like personally, I didn't think that this would be here, but then when I saw it on BGG, I was just like, oh. That is like the city builder,
Okay.
and it is Oranienburger Kanal, the Uwe Rosenberg game.
Okay.
Yeah, because I was not having that mindset of Uwe Rosenberg being like a city building guy. Like I had totally disregarded his games, and then I remembered that exists, and it's super fun. So
It is.
So this is a 2-player worker placement game-ish, because you're placing workers to take the stuff, like the discs.
Oh yeah,
Do
that's
you
true.
agree?
Yeah. I just had to. It's been a while since I played it.
Yeah, and you're placing these roads or like rivers, and like you're also playing with the borders, like just not with the like I'm saying building spaces, but it's essentially cards.
Yeah.
But having where you place it adjacent to like the borders and the different kind of what do you call it?
I don't know.
The roads and the boats. No,
The boats,
the
roads.
rivers. It's really interesting. Also, I think it's cool that you're activating the cards with these little bridges. So you want to place the right buildings. I'm saying buildings. I don't know if it's buildings, but it is in the city. So I'm standing by it to activate both of the cards at once. So you want to like do the right timing thing. So that is my number 4.
It's a great game.
Yeah.
I like it as well. It's not my number 4. My number 4 is a game that we took a while to play. One that we wanted to play for a while. Then we played it. Then we loved it. Then we played it many times, and we still love it. I still love it. I think you like it quite a bit as well. It is Ginkgopolis.
Cool.
Ginkgopolis is a very fun interactive city building game where you play cards to either expand the city or to build over other people. And when you build over other people, you get to place a card out on the board because then it doesn't exist anymore. And then you get an ability. So you're trying to get these abilities. And then there's area majority. There's many things. But it's a very short, kind of easy game, but with a lot of depth. There is an expansion I heard it's really good, and I want to check it out.
Cool.
But it's one that I will always be happy to play. One of my like older favorite games, basically. One that I love, Ginkgopolis, number 4. And then we are in the top 3 games of city building. It's number 3.
My number 3 is a crossover, and it's a tiny crossover.
Tiny
So we have
dance.
to do like a tiny crossover dance. It's Tiny Dance, yeah. And I love it. It's so punishing, but I really think it's cool because, as you said, you're trying to place your cubes so that whatever the other players pick, you will be happy with their choices. You're usually not, but also like when you first combine the like blocks into a building, you are then also like the buildings have their each way that they want to be placed in the city to score points, and that is also like very brain melting, but very very fun.
Yes, I agree. I like the game a lot. My number 3, it's number 3, right? My number 3 is going to be a crossover.
Cool.
It is My City.
Okay.
Really like it, and really looking forward to playing My Island, which I heard is like better in every way. I sadly just missed it at our online local store, but we're going to get a copy soon, hopefully. So that's number 3. Number 2! Only 2 games left, or 4, depending on how many crossovers there are. It's your turn, number 2.
I am very, very unsure of which one is number 1 and number 2. It was so very hard to decide, but I think maybe this could climb to number 1 when we play the new edition of Small City, because it's a really, really great game by Alban Viard. So, like, for sure, like, by far the heaviest game on this list.
Yeah. And it's a lot of light and medium games.
Oh yeah. This is a monster.
It is.
And like the way that you have to puzzle your own city, but also kind of see what the other people are doing is very it's the hardest city builder in my opinion.
And also have the most annoying mayor in any game.
Yeah.
Who just comes to the best city and just stands there and blocks you.
Why?
He says like, I'm going to stand here now for the round. You're like, I want to build there. No, I'm standing here.
I feel
you
like that
can't
is
build
very
there.
thematic.
Yeah, because that's what happens in our city here in
just
Norway.
Standing there.
The mayor is just going out and standing in place. But yeah,
I'm so annoyed.
That's your number 2. My number 2 is gonna be a Quadropolis, which we got like the first time we went to Gotcon and Gothenburg together.
Yes.
That's going to be then 2014, I think. Because 2013 I went by myself.
So long ago?
2014. A really fun game. Probably my favorite Days of Wonder game. A really, really good game. It has a solo, non-island basic mode, and an advanced mode, and both are fantastic. Very simply, you're placing this architect. It has a number besides a grid. Let's say it's a 2. I take the second tile in from where I place it, and I have to place it in area 2 on my board. And as with other games on this list, you want to place them adjacent to specific things to score in specific ways. And it's just like it's the basic version you can teach to kind of like it's not, I think it's like it's almost a gateway, but it's a little bit over that. But it's just like a super fun game with the advanced mode, fantastic as well. That is my number 2. Number 1.
It is Quadropolis, so it's another crossover.
I was guessing that. Yeah, that's a great game, and it would make no sense if number 1 wasn't a crossover as well. It is Acropolis, my number 1.
Yeah, of course.
No, it's
Bye!
But it's Small City. Small City is one of the first time I played it. I was the only one out of 4 who wasn't asleep at the time. You were sleeping and the other 2 players were sleeping because I was teaching it to you like 1:30, like 1:30 a.m.
Yeah.
And I really wanted to play the game that we bought at the con. And I played it. I got you all to play it again the next day. I don't know how. But then we actually all enjoyed it. And it is a fantastic game, one that I am super happy to have. Now we have the new version as well. We're looking forward to play that with an expansion as well. And that's going to be the end.
Yeah.
Those are the top 10 city building games for us. We hope you enjoyed this list. Please let us know in the comments what is your top like 5 or 10 or 16,000 city building games. If you enjoy what we do and you haven't done so yet, then you can help us out in a big way by giving us a victory point.
And we get victory points when victory points when you click that subscribe button. You can also click the bell. I don't know why my language isn't working to get notifications every time we post a new video.
And this is the end of this video. I'm Johannes.
I'm Sunniva.
And you, been watching Board Gaming Ramblings, and bye-bye.